We are at a local residence in Burlington this morning, and I'm here with Panos from Home Inspection Services Group, and we're outside a house right now. But before we go in to talk about all what can happen inside of a home, tell me a little bit about your business.
Good morning, first of all. Thank you for coming. Our business was established in 2012. We started with the basic home inspections, for real estate transactions, but over the years we've added so many services, and in 2019 we've actually expanded in many environmental services. The environment, the indoor environment is very important to families, to people, to children.
Yes.
So we thought of helping people deal with some issues that may occur inside the home.
And people don't think about it, right?
No, they don't. Usually we get the call when something is wrong.
Right.
And we always try and give tips to people on how to deal with issues before they happen. And that's part of actually of our policy and our the way we do things in our company.
Sure, and it makes sense. So tell me, so James is behind you here. What is he doing right now?
James actually is taking a look at the roof with our extendable pole equipment. There was a roof leak at this house, which we're going to take a look and help them find out where this roof leak is coming from.
From this torrential rain we had
From
the
the
other
torrential rain we had the other day, exactly.
This is what happens, right? Yeah.
So you could get a roofer in, but we try and give a whole house approach to people, because it may be something simple, it may be something different, it may be something big. So we try and give a whole house approach.
That's a good idea. So you don't have to necessarily call a roofer, we can call you guys first.
Yeah, we don't do the work,
Right,
but we
but
at least will pinpoint exactly where the issue is, so that you don't go and spend like thousands of dollars on replacing your roof when it's something simple.
Oh, interesting. Okay, so inside of a home, before we go in, let's list some of the things that can happen inside of a home. We've got mold.
Mold that can happen from leaks, plumbing leaks, roofing leaks, or basement leaks. Mold is very important.
Yep.
And it's always, you're going to see it when it comes out from the wall. And we have a ways to determine if there's mold before you see it coming out.
That's the thing. You get the call when people think they see it. Okay.
So that's
Asbestos is another.
Asbestos for older homes, that's another big thing. Radon is a big thing, especially in the west end of Ontario, like Hamilton, Burlington areas, Niagara Falls. It's a high-risk area for radon.
Interesting. Okay, and we hear people are saying, I've heard of this radon thing. I maybe got something in the mail about it, but we don't really talk about it. We're going to talk about it and get into more details. It's actually dangerous.
Yeah, yes, it is. And we're also going to talk about allergies. My family has allergies.
Yep.
Okay, pretty much every family is going to have some sort of allergies, and not everything is related to the exterior. A lot of these allergies are related to the interior environment of the home.
People are wondering why they've got something.
Why are you stuffy? What's that musty smell? Why are my eyes running all the time? Skin irritations. We actually have helped with people with skin irritations. Their doctor said, why don't you do allergy tests in your home to see if there's something in your home? Okay,
well, let's go in this home, shall we? And let's figure out what's going on inside here. Could be lots of problems we're going to dig up this morning. We'll be right back. Oh, we have a serious problem. Maybe not so serious, but you never want to see water on your ceiling. I'm here in the basement at this house in Burlington. I'm back with James. And James, we want to talk a little bit about what happens when we see this in our house, and how serious is it, and where can it take us?
Yes, this stain is an indication of moisture. Obviously that needs to be verified with thermal imaging, which is a diagnostic tool that all home inspectors, in my opinion, should be using.
Right.
In this case, this comes from a plumbing stack. The apron flashing on the roof was allowing for moisture infiltration.
Okay, so now we're in the basement, so it's managed to come through 2 floors.
Good point. The crazy thing about moisture is it can run by capillary action. So it requires a little bit of investigation.
Wow.
In this case, this has come down the stack all the way to the basement area where it's visible on the roof here. Now what I'm going to do here is use my thermal imaging camera.
Okay.
And you can see there the signature from the moisture.
Very cool. So this really helps you now. So from that, and what you get from that, where do you take that information?
Yes, so what we're going to do is put this in a detailed report for our clients.
Okay.
We always verify with a moisture detection device. In this case, you can see it's active moisture, active issue from the roof.
Right.
So we'll document this in the report and make recommendations for correction for our clients.
Okay, because some people look and they think, oh, in the basement, maybe it was from a bathroom, right? It was from a toilet, it was from an overrun bathtub. But if it's coming from the roof, you've got a problem that's going to keep on going on.
Correct. So now the correct recommendation is for the roofer to come in and do the repair to correct the problem, and then you would just repair the drywall.
Right, okay. So I know you have a sort of a situation over here set up for us to kind of give us an idea of what you would do.
So
if it gets worse, then you get mold.
Yeah, so whenever mold comes into play, whether it's a mold company removing it and doing a follow-up indoor air quality assessment, what you want to do is have this provide a detailed report to your clients of spore concentrations in the house and then recommendations for correction.
Okay, gotcha.
In this case, this is a mold pump. And how it works is we installed a spore trap. Obviously, you want to have the protective gear while you're doing it and avoid cross-contamination. But you're going to run the spore trap. You're going to run it for 5 minutes with the pump. And then you're going to close it up and you're going to package it properly, produce a chain of custody for an accredited laboratory.
Right.
And then you'll usually, depending on the severity, you can have it 24 hours, 48 hours. You're going to provide a detailed report with spore concentrations and then obvious recommendations.
And mold can be present in the home before people even know it, right? A lot of times people see it and then they call you. Meanwhile, they've been living with it for a long time.
Yes.
And it can be a very, very, very dangerous for your health. So we have to really watch that. So that's something to really keep on top of. And again, it can be hiding behind the walls. And so,
or in the attic.
Or in the attic. Just before we go, I want you to just quickly mention just about allergens as well.
Yep. So we got a device over here, which it connects to just a Dirt Devil system. And what we do is a lot of times with homes with pets and people are seeing ailments, respiratory stuff, what we would do is we would just run this for a minute. So this actually is what is used for the lab, and they will sample that and they will tell, they'll provide a report for the client. Yeah.
All right. We have an inspection services group where we've been hanging out with these guys this morning, learning all about the things that are lurking in our homes. We'll be back. We're going to talk about asbestos next. We're inside on the upper level of this home in Burlington with the folks from Inspection Services Group. I'm here with James, and James, we want to talk about asbestos now. We still have to think about it because it lurks in older homes. So what's sort of the time period where we would find that in homes?
Yeah, so it was banned in 1979, but it's still kind of kicking around in the 80s. They were using it in a lot of building materials. So if your home was built early 80s or pre-1980, you might consider having especially your popcorn ceiling tested to ensure that there's no asbestos-containing material
and see,
in it.
I wouldn't even have thought about it being in the actual popcorn on the ceiling, right? And a lot of people will come into a home like this and say, you know what, I want to get rid of that. Oh, let's just start scraping, and it's like dust, and now you're like exposing yourself potentially. Okay, so tell me, how do you test for that?
So what you're going to do is obviously with the proper protective equipment, I always put a drop cloth down here, least invasive as possible because you don't want to disrupt it.
Right.
I spray it just to prevent any extra dust from coming down.
Sure, makes sense.
And you're gonna break a small piece here, and you're just going to double bag it. And then you send it to the laboratory, and they're going to provide the client with a test that's going to determine if there's asbestos-containing material. It actually tell the type and how much the percentage is. Yeah.
Interesting. Okay, so now you have a bag of vermiculite. So tell me about this.
Yeah, so this was actually taken from a home in the 60s, and it was in the attic, and basically it was just under some of the fiberglass insulation. Now, whenever you're testing vermiculite, you need enough of the vermiculite to get a proper test. So this actually does not have asbestos, but there were 2 mines. So one that did contain it, one that did not contain it. So in this case, they were lucky and fortunate. There was nothing in it, but some people are unfortunate.
Okay, so tell me, you find out, you do the testing with you guys, and then you find out your house is kind of riddled with asbestos. What do you do then? Well,
then you're going to have to call a remediation company. Now, it really depends on how invasive the remediation is. Some are going to be a little bit more extensive. A lot of times with the vermiculite in the attic, it's not really disrupted, so it's not really dangerous. And the fibers are only going to be dangerous when they become friable and they get airborne and people can ingest them, where they cause asbestosis and mesothelioma.
Yes, right. So do you have people like showing up in the full like white suits like E.T. and then coming in?
If it's an older home with plaster, you definitely would have something if they were doing a full remediation. A lot of time the attic is not too bad. They'll just come in, they'll
contain the area, and then isn't that something? Well, something to think about, because people love buying older homes and coming in and doing cool things to them, right? And renovating. You have to make sure, contacting you guys and really making sure you're ahead of the game before you start knocking down walls and stuff.
Correct.
All right, we have lots to talk about this morning. There's so much to learn here. All the things that can go wrong in your home. We're with the Inspection Services Group here in Burlington. Good morning. We're inside the home in the basement right now. We're back with Panos, and we want to talk about radon. We were saying that this is something some people have heard about, but they're not really sure. You sometimes get a little mail out, and and you look at it in the mail. It says you test it, maybe not. I don't know. People just throw it away. You said it's actually can be very serious.
Yes, radon has been linked with cancer. It is the second highest cancer causing after smoking.
Wow. Okay, so what is it?
So radon is a natural occurrence. It comes from the decomposition of uranium in the soil. So it's natural, it's outside, it's normal.
Right.
Nothing happens to us outside, but when it's in high concentrations inside a home, that's when long-term effects come into play.
Okay, so now you have a map here that shows our region, and the green area where we kind of fall into zone 2 all around the Golden Horseshoe area, our viewership, it's high. It's really high. Radon is high in our area.
That is correct. This map is based on government tests all across Ontario, and they have determined these zones. It's not something that we have done.
Right.
It's the government determined. Everything is on the Health Canada website as well. So it's public information, right? But that's where it is, and there's not really any campaigns out there to talk about radon.
Why don't we talk about it?
I don't know the answer to that, to be honest.
Right. Okay. So I guess the big question is, we need to test it, which comes to you guys, and then we need to figure out how to get rid of it.
Yes. So you don't know if you have high concentrations of radon in your home unless you test.
Okay.
You can't smell it. You can't see it. There's nothing like you can tell us without testing.
Okay.
So we have two different types of tests. We have the short-term test, which is this little machine over here.
Okay.
Small but very, very expensive. The reason for that is because this is a certified equipment. It gets calibrated every year. All right. So this is not something that you go to Home Depot and buy a kit and do it yourself.
Right.
There is science behind testing for radon.
Okay.
So this is the short-term test. We recommend doing this for 3-4 days.
Okay.
It gives us a very detailed graphical representation of how radon fluctuates in your home.
So you park this in someone's home for about 3-4 days, and then you get the readings.
It keeps getting data. It's actually running right now. It keeps getting data. It cannot be disturbed.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's running now. It's collecting data.
Okay.
And it gives us a whole graph until the end of the test.
Okay.
So then we take that graph and we see what the fluctuations are. If we are above the concentrations that the government says you should do something about that, then we will recommend putting a long-term device. This is a long-term device. It goes kind of in a similar position, and it sits in the house for like 90 days. And again, it's a different system.
Right.
It collects data, and then this has to be sent to a laboratory to get the test analyzed.
Okay, so now, I know we don't have too much time, but what happens if you find out you have high levels of radon? How do we remove
That's
it?
when you bring a radon mitigation company in. It's very simple. It's nothing scary.
Really?
It's not expensive. Usually it's between $2,000 and $3,000.
Okay.
The only thing you can do is remove the radon from your home. So they put a system in with a fan that just removes the radon out of the home. It's very simple.
Oh, because it does. It sounds terrifying and expensive, as you just said, but it's not.
It's not.
It's easy to solve.
It's
They just
easy
need to
to
call
solve.
you guys.
And something that many people don't know is that if you're buying a brand new construction home, your Tarion warranty covers radon mitigation for 7 years.
Go figure. We need to talk about radon more.
Yes, we do.
And mold and asbestos and all the wonderful things we talked about this morning. Thank you so much, Panos, for the information, and James as well. This is good stuff. Check your home. Get these guys to come in and check your home. You have no idea what's hiding in behind all the walls and, well, underground as well. That's it for now from Morning Live.